Welcome to How to Make $100,000 a Year with No Experience. I want to take a few minutes here, just about 10 or 15, and talk to you guys about the easiest possible way to make $100,000 a year without a college education or even any schooling. So, tell you a little bit about myself real quick, and then we'll get rolling with this, all right? I was born in Michigan, just outside of Detroit, in a small town called Ypsilanti. As most of you know, Michigan's a factory town. People go to work at Fords and General Motors, and that's what they do. They put in their time, they get done with that, they retire, and that's it. Not much of a life. And for myself, I wanted something a little bit more than that. So at the age of 20, I packed up, I moved out to Oregon in search of more opportunity, and I found it. For myself, I was looking through the newspaper back when you had to do that for a job, and I found an ad that said car sales make $60,000 to $80,000 a year, and that was back when you actually had to sell cars. A lot different now than what it was back then. But I took that knowledge, I learned all the financial side of it, and I took all that knowledge and I went to work in the banks. And I worked there for about a year and a half, 2 years before getting into mortgages. I was one of the fastest growing bankers in the industry at the time. I went from working as a teller to about 3 months into it, they started grooming me to become a banker already. And for anybody that knows anything, typically it takes about a year of working as a teller before you get promoted to the next position. I did it in like a total of 5 months. And from there, I took my information and knowledge and I went into mortgages, and I did that until the bottom fell out on that. And so what I did was I got myself into a position that allowed me to make the money that I wanted to make, and I did. And what I've done now is I've compiled 20 years of that learning into one detailed, straight to the point manual that I want to share with you guys for your success as well. You know, there's a saying in the world that says if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. And for me, I always wanted more, so I struck out and went for more. Did you guys know that the job search is always on? Of course you do, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here right now listening to this little presentation that I got for you. And the crazy thing about that is that 58% of adults look at jobs at least monthly. Okay? Every month, there's 58% of the workforce out there looking for a new job. So that's some pretty heavy duty stuff. I don't know about you guys, but for me, compensation matters. And that's why I got out of Michigan and got it into what I'm doing now, teaching people how to make a lot of money. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I've helped quite a few people, which you'll find at the end of this. You'll see some testimonials from some folks who took my course and what they're doing now. But like I said, compensation matters, you know. People, 77% want to make good money. Number two, good location. Most people want to work closer to home. And number three, flexible hours. We want more time with our friends and family. You know, people are going to work and they're putting in 60, 70, 80 hours a week and they don't have any time for their family. And that's just not cool anymore. Americans right now work more than anyone. We work more than the English, more than the French, more than the Germans and Norwegians, even recently more than the Japanese. We're taking less vacations, we're working longer days, and we're starting to retire at a later age too. You know, the harder thing to pin down is just exactly how much Americans are working, but we do know that we are working more than ever before. You know, the numbers coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics show a gradual rising trend through the 90s that has only just recently tapered off, but we're still in the 50 to 60 hour work week. You know, in the last 20 years, the amount of times Americans have spent at their jobs has risen steadily. According to calculations, the average worker is now on the job 1 month more a year. 42% reported that their workload was excessive, which means that the average 40-hour-a-week job is no longer providing sufficient income for many families. Just to reach the standard of living in 1990 for production and non-supervisory employees, you got to work 245 more hours, which equates out to about 6 extra weeks a year. That's with overtime and weekends and all that stuff. Folks, that's not good. We got to do something about that. And that's why I'm here talking to you today about this, because there is a way to make more and work less, and it is easier than you think. Guess how? Thanks to the internet, things got a lot easier. See, when I got into this, like I said, back in the in the early 90s, as a car salesman, you had to actually sell cars. That's not the way anymore. Because of the internet, transportation consultants are making $100,000 a year because when folks come in, they already know what they want. You see, you get online, you look for what you want, you figure out what your payment is, you know all the stuff that you need to know before you walk through the door to the dealership. And because of that, the whole process is now easier. You've become just a customer service person. So it's like if you work in a mall or basically anywhere that you deal with people, you have customer service skills. That's the same thing with this job now. People come in, they know what they want, they know what they want to pay, and it makes everything easier for you. The average dealership right now pays out $200 or more per transaction. So think about this. Your customer comes in, they know exactly what they're looking for. You just have to help them find that car with those options and the color that they want. Okay? Guess how long that takes to do now? Years ago when I got into it, 3 to 4 hours. Now the average transaction takes about an hour. Of that, the average consultant works about 4 hours a day now. Okay? And here's what's even better. It took me 20 years to figure this out. The average consultant will take years to get the information that I have for you right now. Okay? So I have a question for you. Do you know what the definition of average is? Well, here, let me show you. You see, the definition of average is you take the best, then you take the worst, somewhere in the middle, you guessed it, is average. So you've got the worst of the best and the best of the worst. And the sad thing is that's 90% of America, folks. Is that crazy or what? 90% of America is average. We're getting up, we're going to an average job, we're living an average life, and we're doing, putting in more hours a week or a year actually to be able to do that. But here's the difference. If you're watching this thing right now, you're not average. You want more, and I'm here to teach you how to get more, okay? Let me give you a breakdown of kind of how this whole thing works, all right? So let's say the selling price of a car is $20,000. Actually, the average selling price of a car nowadays is about $30,000. But just for purposes of learning right now, we're just going to go through this. So $20,000, okay? Let's say the dealer cost on that car is $19,000, which leaves you $1,000 of gross profit, okay? The dealership pays a percentage of that, about 20 to 25%, which is standard, okay? So you take 25% of $1,000, you have $250, which would be your commission, right? So a customer comes in, like I said, they know what they want, and you just find the color, you get them in that right color with all the options and everything that they want, and you made yourself $250. Well, let's say it took you 2 hours. You still made $125 an hour. Where else can you do that at, folks? Where else can you make $125 an hour to be a customer service rep? Or as I like to say in this industry, a transportation consultant, because that's really all you're doing. But that's not all, folks. Not only do they pay out a commission, but they also have what's called other forms of income, okay? So other forms of income in car dealerships come up as a spiff. So that's something that the dealer pays. And that's for doing a great job, going above and beyond. Sometimes they just throw it out there just because. And typically on that, you can make, let's say, $100. But it doesn't stop there, okay? Now you've got what's called bonuses. Once you hit a certain number of cars that you've sold, they also give you a bonus per car that you've sold. So let's say the dealership pays out typically $100 on that. So now you're looking at $450 on a car. Took you an hour, maybe two, to make $450. But that's not it either, because the factory has what's called incentives as well. And those guys pay out pretty huge too. Anywhere from $100 to $200 per car. So every time a customer comes in, they buy a new car, you get your $250. Maybe you get a spiff, maybe you don't. Maybe you get a bonus, maybe you don't. But you still get that factory incentive, which again is somewhere between $100 and $200. So for this one, we'll just say $150. So what you see here is that basically the minimum that you're making on a car sale is $400 per hour, okay? And that's on a new car, mini deal. Mini means that's the minimum that you make on a car deal, okay? And that's on new cars. You guys want to see what it's like on a used car? Check this out. This one's really going to blow your mind, okay? So you take the selling price of $20,000 again, but because it's a used car, the dealer cost is a little different, all right? So let's figure $16,000, pretty typical dealer cost. That gives you a $4,000 gross profit now at that 25% for a commission of 25% of 1,000 or 24,000, $1,000. That's right. So now you're making $400 a deal. Let's say you're doing just one a day, okay? 5 days a week. There's $2,000 for that. So you're at $8,000 a month right there, okay, on that. And then if you only did one of these used cars, there's another 1,000, okay? So add at least 12,000 more to your year to date. But I'm here to tell you folks, you won't sell just one used car. You'll sell a few, 4, 5, 6, as many as you want in a month. It all comes down to your motivation and determination. So here's what I got, folks. I've taken out all the games and the guesswork, okay? I wrote a straight-to-the-point manual explaining what to say, when to say it, and how to say it that can work in any industry, really, and not just automotive, okay? This manual gives you several different scenarios, is written in a script form so you can easily understand and know when to use what and where. It includes a glossary of terms commonly used and what they all mean, and it's designed for you to succeed in any industry. Like I said, I'm going to teach you what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. If you don't want to be in the car business, but you work at the mall and you want to increase your sales there, say you work for a company that has some sort of product that they're trying to push, you can use this in any of those areas, okay? It's all in there. It tells you what to say, how to say it, and when to say it. And that's what's most important, is knowing what to say and when to say it, see? The difference between me, though, is that most offers like this run anywhere from $600 to $300. They're long-winded and super boring. They don't really give you the real-life examples or the verbiage that you truly need to handle the situations that you'll encounter. That's not me, okay? I was given an opportunity long ago, and I took it, and I made a lot of money. And now, knowing how easy it is, I want to help you make great money as well. So I'm basically paying it forward, okay? I'm taking out all the guesswork, all the, trial and error, if you will, because I want you to succeed. And it's not for just me. It's for you and your families as well. I have no kids, okay? But I do have 2 nieces. And I'm looking at this as, if we don't do something to change our economy, there's going to be nothing for them in the future. The internet took all the hard work out of it and made it all just a customer service job. So answering a few questions when folks come in, just like if you worked at a department store, a grocery store, anywhere that you have to interact with people, which is 90% of all jobs, okay? So with that said, I have a simple but serious question for you. If this manual, with all its knowledge and content, were available to you, you were given career placement assistance. So you get this manual, you learn it, you call me up, and you say, hey, I'm ready to go to work. I make some phone calls, and I get you into career placement assistance, get you hooked up with some people. You would never be without work or money again, and it didn't cost you $600, $300, or even $100, would you take the offer? Would you? Think about it. $200 to $400 an hour you could be making. And I'm going to give you everything you need to be able to do that from the start to the finish. Okay? Take a look at this picture. If this is a good start to an idea of where you'd like to live, then let's do this. Let's do this. If you want a bigger house, a nicer car, a savings account for your future, to be able to pay for college for your kids, let's do this. Okay? Let me show you again what all I have for you guys. Okay, here's what I have. The manual. Career placement assistance. So you don't just have to do this and then go figure it out on your own. I'll put you in touch with people. You get a certificate of achievement, because how cool is that when you walk in to deal with somebody that they've got a certificate hanging on their wall that says they are certified and trained. And as an added bonus to the first 100 people who take advantage of this offer, I'm going to throw in an 8-day, 7-night resort vacation that is good for locations all over the U.S., Mexico, Bahamas, and Canada. See, folks, I'm so confident that you can do this and that you're going to do well at this that I'm going to throw in 8 days and 7 nights. So if you want to go to the beach, go skiing, go up in the mountains and get away from everybody, it's all right here for you, folks. And it's not $100, $300, $600, none of that crazy stuff. $49.95 is it. That's it, folks. I want you to make the money that you want to make, so I made this affordable for everyone. So, if interested, here's what I need you to do. Click on the link below to see some video testimonials from some others who've gone through my courses. Get yourself the manual, get the certification and your vacation voucher, and get started on making the easiest money you could ever make. God bless, and I hope that everybody takes advantage of this.